I talked through the entire credits. I thought they'd be longer. Oh well. Should we check out these extras? Why not? Let's look at some of these extras. Let's check them out. The Book of Fables. Oh, there's a lot of them. I want to find out about Sharknado. Grendel, he's a drifter. Grendel just wants to be left alone. In the old days, he terrorized Norse mead halls. Oh, he's a Norse. I like it. But lately, he can be found occupying a stool in various quiet, dumpy bars around New York. He hates the noise of the city, but must work there to afford his glamour. Despite his gruff bearing, he's fiercely loyal to those who will learn to offer him the space and silence he desires. Talking to him is like watching a time bomb tick down. It's only a matter of time. So he's a prick, pretty much. The Farm, Fabletown Annex. The farm is home to fables who cannot pass as human, giants, goblins, animals, etc. It is located in upstate New York, far enough away from the Mundies to avoid detection. Some of its residents resent their confinement to the farm, despite its size and comforts to them. The farm is a prison. They would be allowed to leave the farm if they could purchase a glamour, but many do not have the money for something so expensive, though some, like Colin, sneak out of the city anyway. Okay. Oh, I can just go through this way? Okay, I'll go from the beginning to the end. Why not? Bigby Wolf, Fabletown Sheriff. The renowned Big Bad Wolf. He's known for tormenting pigs and girls in red hoods, but is trying to put those dark days behind him. Bigby now acts as Fabletown's sheriff and remains in his human form mostly. However, due to his rough past, the citizens of Fabletown are slow to trust him. Bigby is determined to show that he's truly changed, but some instincts are just too hard to control. Snow White, assistant to the deputy mayor. Snow White may seem cold, but this stems from her life of mistreatment and abuse back in the homelands. After escaping assault and imprisonment, not to mention an attempt on her life, she married Prince Charming. It wasn't long before Snow discovered that Charming cheated on her with her estranged sister Rose Red, and she divorced him. After the Exodus, Snow focused her attention on setting up a safe haven for fables in the New World. She now serves as assistant to the deputy mayor of Fabletown. Oh man, my voice gets ruined if you yawn. The Woodsman, fallen hero. The Woodsman is one of the few men who went toe-to-toe with Bigby in his Black Forest days and lived to tell the tale. In an attempt to save Little Red Riding Hood, he split the Great Wolf's belly open with his axe, filled him full of rocks, and threw the beast into a river. To his dismay, his popularity has faded. Even his name is forgotten, and he is only known as the Woodsman. Faith, Donkey Skin Girl. Faith, otherwise known as the Donkey Skin Girl, made it through the Exodus from the magical homelands with the clothes on her back, her husband, and nothing else. She was once a beautiful princess, happily married to Prince Lawrence of a neighboring kingdom. Her life should have had a happy ending, but the mundane city of New York wasn't kind to her, or her marriage. With no money, Faith found herself turning tricks to make the rent for a cheap apartment on the outskirts of Fabletown. She had a difficult life, but she did what she could to survive in an unfamiliar world. Beauty, caring wife. Beauty and her husband Beast once lived in an enchanted castle, but they were forced to flee the homelands in the Exodus, leaving all of their wealth behind. Now they live in a modest studio in Fabletown, New York. Though times are hard, with Beast working multiple jobs to pay the bills, the couple have the longest-lasting relationship of all the fables. Beast, concerned husband. Beast and his wife Beauty left everything behind when they escaped the homelands in the Exodus. Without his former wealth... damn it. Oh, sorry. Without his former wealth, Beast must pick up extra work to make ends meet. He is able to get around Fabletown without a glamour most of the time, but if Beauty gets too angry with him, he becomes more beastly by the minute, growing horns and large teeth. Despite the occasional bickering, the two are truly in love and have the longest-lasting relationship of anyone in Fabletown. Mr. Toad, Slumlord. Mr. Toad is the superintendent for a defunct tenement on the edge of Fabletown proper. Because he's a 3.5-foot talking amphibian, Toad is required by Fabletown law to keep his family and himself magically glamoured to appear human. The problem is Toad is concerned with what the law is and has to be reminded often. Colin, couchsurfer. Colin is better known as one of the three little pigs back in the homelands. They were harassed by the big bad wolf, who blew down Colin's house of straw. After the Exodus, Colin and the other fables who couldn't pass for human were sent to live at the farm in upstate New York. Unable to stand such a boring life, Colin constantly makes trips down to Fabletown to bother Bigby. He's always caught and sent back to the farm, but he doesn't let that stop him. Ichabod Crane, deputy mayor of Fabletown. Hailing from the haunted town of Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane has been deputy mayor of Fabletown for nearly 115 years. Crane is a bundle of nerves and takes his job very seriously, though that doesn't mean he always does it well. As one of Fabletown's elite, Crane is often blind to the troubles of the less well-off citizens. Overall, Crane is authoritarian, cowardly, and always hiding something. He's a prick. Buffkin, Fabletown librarian. Buffkin is the talking winged monkey from the land of Oz. Now, as Fabletown's librarian, he spends his time reading and stealing the deputy mayor's booze. He's prone to mischief, so when something goes wrong, he assumes he'll receive the lion's share of the blame. He's helpful when he wants to be, but most of the time he'd rather be drinking. Someone would have fired him long ago, but he's the only one who can make sense of the filing system. Fabletown, home of the fables. Fabletown is a community located in Bullfinch Street in Manhattan's Upper West Side. To regular people, or Mondays, it appears to be an ordinary New York neighborhood, but it is really the home of fables from many worlds. And within the business office at the Woodlands lies a massive cavern, a vast library, and hundreds of magical items of immense power. All non-human fables live upstate on the farm, an extension of Fabletown. Mondays. Non-fables. Short for mundane, Monday is a catch-all term that fables use to refer to the non-magical inhabitants of their adopted home. Warding spells placed around the blocks of Fabletown and the farm keep their minds distracted and dull within certain boundaries. However, if anything should pique the curiosity of or scrutiny of a large group of Mondays, these magical protection charms would overload and fail. As sheriff of Fabletown, oh, sorry. I was holding that one for a while. As sheriff of Fabletown, one of Bigby's primary functions is ensuring the Fabletown community maintains a low profile. Glamours, disguise spell. Glamours are spells that allow the user to change their appearance. They are expensive, but can be purchased by non-human fables in order to pass for human among Mondays. Cheap glamours can be found in the seedier parts of Fabletown, but they are often unreliable and prone to sudden failure. Prince Lawrence, Faith's husband. After escaping the homelands, Prince Lawrence and his wife Faith immediately fell victim to the harsh realities of the mundane world. They moved to New York hoping to find aid in a community of fellow fables, but without enough money to live in Fabletown, they had to settle on an apartment on the outskirts of the neighborhood. Unfortunately, that meant they were out of sight and out of mind when it came to government assistance. Their prospects dwindling, Faith left Lawrence to try and make it on her own. Now, without his wife for support, Lawrence struggles to motivate himself and quickly sinks into depression. I can completely relate to that. It fucking sucks. The Tweedles, hired goons. The Tweedle brothers, Dumb and Dee, are thugs for hire. They appear human, allowing them to carry out their contracts in the Monday world without drawing suspicion. They are inseparable as they are as inseparable as they are ruthless. Holly, the Trip Trap owner. Holly is a no-nonsense kind of troll, and the owner of the Trip Trap bar. She's glamored to appear human, but her patrons know better. Holly takes good care of her regulars, often the downtrodden fables with little to spare, but she has no patience for Fabletown government that has done nothing to locate her missing sister. Bluebeard, wealthy scoundrel. Bluebeard managed to escape the homelands with his riches intact and continues to be one of the wealthiest fables in New York. The Fabletown government depends on his generous contributions, and he often uses this influence for his own benefit. As a formal serial killer, he claims his days of decapitating his brides are over. But even if he was able to leave his violent ways in the homelands, that hasn't stopped him from making the occasional trip down to Crooked Lane. Bigby's mercy. In the days leading up to the Exodus, the Big Bad Wolf hunted armies of men and goblins in the Black Forest. These invading forces had driven off the great beast's preferred quarry and their own flesh was rotten with corruption. Hardly a suitable replacement, he made it his game to destroy their camps, devour their night watchmen, and disrupt their supply trains while sparing their prisoners. One day, he broke their ranks and discovered a particular woman they held captive. Her skin was white as snow, but her hair was dark as the night sky. He approached her, and she, knowing no sword could match the giant wolf's power, bravely placed her shackles on the beast's mouth. He freed her, but years would pass before the two would meet again in the Mundy world. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so I'm still missing a lot, but that's cool. That means there's more to look forward in the next episode, perhaps. I'm not going to look at the achievements. I want to leave those as a secret. Well, thanks a lot for joining me, guys, and I'll see you in part 2.